You're watching Home Box Office.
This is Larry Holmes. He is the WBC's heavyweight champion of the world. And this is Mike Weaver, the WBA's heavyweight champion of the world. These two warriors possess boxing's most coveted titles. But lurking in the background is Gerry Cooney, the #1 ranked WBA and #2 ranked WBC heavyweight contender, a proven undefeated knockout artist, nearing his shot at the title. But tonight he must face a veteran hungry for a comeback in Ron Lyle. As HBO Sports presents a sports special. Live from Nassau Coliseum in Uniondale, New York. HBO Sports presents the Coliseum Collision, a scheduled 10-round heavyweight bout between #1 ranked WBA heavyweight contender Gerry Cooney and Ron Lyle. And we welcome you to the Nassau Coliseum, a crowd of 10,000 on hand, and they're here to see a matchup of two sluggers, one on the way up, the other perhaps on the way out. Good evening, everyone. I'm Marv Albert, and it's my pleasure to be working along with Sugar Ray Leonard and Larry Merchant. And Sugar, first of all, how do you assess this matchup tonight?
Well, Marv, I like what I see in Gerry Cooney. A big man with fast hands and good body shots. But then again, he's fighting Ron Lyle. Ron, a veteran. With the experience that could spoil a guy like Gerry Cooney. But I think Cooney's motivated because you can see the crowd. The people are here, and there's room for one man, Gerry Cooney.
This is no question Gerry Cooney's home territory, that he is from nearby Huntington, Long Island. And there's speculation that Cooney, with a solid performance this evening, could go up against the winner of tomorrow's South African battle between Mike Weaver and Hedi Coetzee. They are fighting for the WBA heavyweight championship. What about all the critics of Cooney? They say the man only has a left hand, and that's it.
Well, they've criticized Cooney just like they criticized me for a period of time. They say one hand, but a guy's big and is a big punch like a Gerry Cooney. That's all he needs is one hand. If I was that big, that's all I would need is one hand.
What does Ron Lyle have to do to beat Gerry Cooney?
What Ron Lyle must do, he must start fast, get his punches off, and try to slow down Gerry Cooney. Because in the later rounds, I really don't believe that Ron Lyle would have the same strength as he did starting out.
Well, he's listed at 38 years of age, but there's some question about that. He could be 40 plus. Ron Lyle and Gerry Cooney coming up in a few moments right here on HBO. We had an opportunity during the course of the week to spend some time with Gerry Cooney during his training days up at the Catskill Mountains. So let's visit with Gerry.
Right straight up in the silver
This is 24-year-old Gerry Cooney of Huntington, Long Island. He's a heavyweight on his way to making history. He dreams of becoming the first white heavyweight title holder since Ingemar Johansson some 20 years ago. Yet color is of no concern to Gerry Cooney.
I just like to be left alone, you know, train hard and win my fights and hopefully win the title. White hope doesn't mean anything. I mean, 100 years ago, maybe it did, but now we're supposed to be in a time where, you know, things are all supposed to be changed and people are not supposed to think that way anymore. And sometimes it's sad that they do.
Gerry is more than a white fighter, okay? He's the best heavyweight in the world. And I look at it as an insult when people say, well, he's a white hope or a good white fighter. He's not a good white fighter. He's a great heavyweight fighter. And all the racism and all the Archie Bunker mentalities put aside, he's going to prove not only what he is in the ring, but what type of human being he is.
Well, Gerry Cooney did impress the boxing world in his last outing against a trim, but what many observed as an aging Jimmy Young. Cooney and his managers have their own observations.
Jimmy Young, I mean, he was in good shape. He trained hard. The fight was postponed. He stayed in training camp. At his stage in his life, he was looking to win, too, to get back on the top. And go into the fight, and you win the fight, and then all of a sudden, the writers build their credit back up. They downplay the other person.
After the fight, Jimmy Young was finished. Jimmy Young's an old man. Jimmy Young is this, and Jimmy Young is that. So we're used to the criticism, all right? I don't think it's warranted.
I think there has always been critics. I remember the days of Joe Louis, okay? It seems that for whatever reason, a fighter is not given his just due during his own time. They tried to downgrade and denigrate Louis by calling it the Bum of the Month Club. They did the same thing with Marciano, okay? But rather than anything that I could possibly articulate, seeing is believing, okay? And Gerry will do the proving in the ring.
Still, most critics claim Cooney had his own stable of bums in his early fights. Against Leroy Boone, even Cooney downplayed his opponent and his own mental conditioning.
It's harder to get up for certain fights, and it's easier to get up for other fights. So that fight, really, I was not in condition for that fight. My head was not into that fight. It was just something I went through, you know, because my managers and my trainers went through a lot of problems to get me that fight, and I had to keep my obligation. I don't have to prove anything to anybody, just for myself and the people that are around me that are close to me. I mean, you know, I'll be here, and I'll be gone too, you know. Someday I'll be gone. So I just have to live with myself. And the people that care about me, that's fine, we'll have a great time. The other people don't mean anything to me.
And this fight tonight against Ron Lyle means a lot to Gerry Cooney as he trains in isolation and prepares to take one step closer to a shot at a heavyweight title.
Training hard up here. Yeah. In the Concord up here, the mountains run up and down the hills with the cows and the deers. It's nice. It's kind of rough here. It's kind of lonely, but I think it's real good for training. The air is real fresh, and we're with a bunch of good people, so it's nice. We have some fun. And this whole thing involves around winning the fight, you know. If you lose, you know, you're nobody, you know. So you got to win today. In anything you do in business or anything, you have to be a winner. So I like winning more than losing.
Gerry Cooney looking to his 24th professional fight, looking to continue that unbeaten string. Now to Cooney's opponent, Ron Lyle, out of Denver, Colorado. And for more on Ron, here's Larry Merchant.
Ron Lyle has had a very successful, if not spectacular, boxing career. In the 70s, he fought most of the top heavyweights and beat many of them. And given where he came from, the third of 19 children, and what he's been through, 7 years in prison on a teenage gang murder rap, and just recently, 2 years ago, acquitted on another murder rap on a defense charge, it says something about his single-mindedness that he is still here. But at this stage of his career, he's using his name as a sort of credit rating. A credit rating for him to get a good payday and for Gerry Cooney to move up to the top of the ratings. Ron Lyle is what is known in the game now as an opponent. Be that as it is, Ron Lyle says, I've been to hell and back, so what else is new? I had a chance to talk to Ron Lyle earlier, and you may be impressed by his single-mindedness. For all we know, so may Gerry Cooney in a few minutes.
Ron, we've just seen a hell of a fighter go to a shell of a fighter, 38-year-old Muhammad Ali. What's different about Ron Lyle at 38?
It's impossible to identify with Muhammad Ali. You didn't identify me with Muhammad Ali 10 years ago, so how can you identify me with Muhammad Ali at this point?
Are you in better condition? You've been a fellow who's never gotten out of that condition as a prize fighter.
I'm in the best shape a man could be in his life. They took my blood pressure, what was it? 71, yeah, 171/20. That's, hey, what is that telling you?
Well, I'm not an expert in blood pressure, but what about your strategy for Gerry Cooney, who has never fought a big puncher like you?
Just bring it to him. Bring it to him and perform. I'm a performer, and I intend to perform for the people. And I intend to show the people of the world that I'm a bona fide, qualified champion, both physically, mentally, morally, economically, and spiritually, a champion. And that's what I intend to do tonight. I'm going to blow him out of there.
Ron, just before the fight, Gerry Cooney refused interviews with us. Does this say to you anything about his mental state?
I can deal with that. I can deal with that. I'm in the me. I'm in the me. You know, I'm in the me.
Thank you very much, Ron Lyle. And now back to ringside with Marv Albert.
All right, Larry, and here is Ron Lyle entering the ring. He is not the favorite of the two here at the Nassau Coliseum.
Well, he's not very often been the hometown boy.
And you hear the cheers in the background. Now that means that Gerry Cooney, who is the hometown boy from nearby Huntington, Long Island, is making his way toward the ring. Here comes Cooney. Gerry Cooney, a young man who is finally receiving the recognition. A good showing against Lyle tonight would be another step in that direction. Aside from his last 3 bouts, the only so-called name that he's fought and beaten, Eddie Animal Lopez, back in January of 1979, a decision in an 8-round bout. So this, a very significant fight here this evening.
You know, you wonder at this point, Marv, what's going through a veteran like Ron Lyle's mind. He's been in with Muhammad Ali. He's been in with Ernie Shavers. He's been in with George Foreman. What does Gerry Cooney mean to him?
It's obvious what Gerry Cooney means to this crowd. It is a standing ovation. Now let's go to the public address announcer, Jimmy Leonard.
Here we go. Tiffany Promotions Incorporated of New York. Sam Glass, president, and Muhammad Ali Professional Sports of Santa Monica, California. Sam Marshall, president, and Lauren Cassina, cooperating promoter. The featured event this evening, 10 rounds of boxing and featuring 2 top world-rated heavyweight contenders. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner, in all probability, will have a title shot at the winner of the Gary Coetzee Mike Weaver bout. Commentating at ringside, Marv Albert with the great Sugar Ray Leonard. The officials appointed by the New York State Athletic Commission. And by the way, it's the chairman, Jack Prendeville, and appointed judging at ringside, Carol Castellano. At ringside, judging in front of me will be Harold Lederman. Timekeeper at the bell, Freddie Abatello. Keeping count of the knockdowns at the bell is Johnny Lobianco. Ringside position, Dr. Frank Guarino, assisted by Jose Paterno. Everybody must sit down. We cannot have a bout till everybody is seated. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the contestants in this great 10-round heavyweight bout. Introducing on my right, out of the blue corner, wearing red trunks and a blue stripe, a very game veteran ring man, having had 47 as a pro, winning 27 of these by knockout, hailing from Denver, Colorado, and weighing in tonight a trim, rough, and ready 211 pounds. He's fought them all, Ron Lyle. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as his opponent, really needing no introduction the world over, a local boy from Huntington, Long Island, weighing in at his biggest weight, 225 pounds. White trunks and a green stripe. He done everything asked of him in the boxing game. The title hopeful, the undefeated Gerry Cooney. Now, ladies and gentlemen, calling the fighters into the ring to give instructions. The man in charge in the ring, the referee, Arthur Mercante.
Cooney coming off the victory over Jimmy Young. Ron Lyle with battles against Young, but several years ago, so really you can't get any feel out of that, Sugar.
Well, Cooney looks very motivated. The crowd, the intensity, you can really feel it.
Ron Lyle looking a little hefty in the midsection. What do you make of that?
He looks trim. Ron Lyle looks really trim. I think he's going to go right at Cooney and try to stop him in the earlier rounds.
Round one underway. Gerry Cooney in the white with the green stripe. Ron Lyle in the red trunks. Scoring is round by round. Winner of each round receives 1 to 4 points. The loser is 0. Referee and 2 judges score the fight. The bell will not save the fighter except for the final round. 3 knockdowns in any single round would end the fight. Mandatory 8 count. Now the chant of Cooney from this crowd of about 10,000 here at the Nassau Coliseum. There's the left hook of Gerry Cooney.
I think Lyle's going to be surprised with the power of Cooney. You notice the way Cooney goes to the body. He throws the left jab and then digs that left hook to the body, to the midsection.
Ron Lyle can punch, but does not have fast hands or fast feet, and has a bad habit of dropping the left hand after he jabs. Can be hit with the right every time he drops that left. That's been his major problem. And Cooney able to land off the combination. When Muhammad Ali beat Ron Lyle back in 1975, he took advantage of that weakness by Lyle. Can be hit with the right hand.
Right now, Lyle is trying to stay either outside his reach or inside those long arms.
You know, I think he's trying to smother, see whether or not the younger man, Cooney, is going to try to punch himself out.
Cooney is a converted southpaw. That left hook, the big punch, and he's getting it in. Cooney, as you saw the tail of the tape, at 6'5", and Lyle at 6'3 and a half. A minute remaining in round one, and Cooney's come right out at Lyle. There's the left to the body. And the uppercut by Cooney, who has been very impressive. The right hand, and Lyle in trouble. Lyle in big trouble here in round one. Cooney looking to put him away. Cooney landing with lefts and rights. Can Lyle hang on? 35 seconds left, round one. Another left uppercut. And again, and the right hand. And Lyle is hurt. And Cooney continues to land, and that could be it. It's all over. First round knockout for Gerry Cooney. This guy's incredible. Bedlam here at the Nassau Coliseum. Gerry Cooney, Sugar, has done as advertised. The devastating left hook. He showed us the right hand, and it was all Cooney, never a question.
Miles, he proved that he can use only one hand and come out victorious. I think a lot of the heavyweights will respect Gerry Cooney from here on out.
It is a first round knockout. Gerry Cooney putting down Ron Lyle in very impressive fashion. So Gerry Cooney now 24-0, 21 by knockout. The quality of the opposition had been questioned. Lyle is the hardest puncher Cooney has ever faced, but we never did see Lyle land.
Well, Lyle made a mistake. He waited for the younger Cooney, and Cooney proved that he wants to become the heavyweight champion. And here you see he's acknowledged the fact the crowd really helped him out as far as the victory over Ron Lyle.
Sugar, I know you can relate to this kind of treatment from the crowd because you've been through this yourself. And the crowd eating it up, back to the chant of Cooney, Cooney. Let's go to the public address. Here's the official announcement from James Leonard.
Well, ladies Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time of the knockout. 2 minutes, 49 seconds into round number 1. Scoring the win by knockout, remaining undefeated, Gerry Cooney.
The crowd continues to cascade their love for one of their own. Out of Huntington, Long Island, Gerry Cooney, perhaps with a message to Gerry Coetzee and Mike Weaver and Larry Holmes. Cooney's co-managers Mike Jones and Dennis Rappaport try to give their man some room. As you check out the scene in the ring, there's a carnival atmosphere here at the Coliseum. Larry Merchant is in the midst of the scene in the ring. He is with Ron Lyle, so let's go to Larry.
Ron, was it a body punch?
I hurt my rib in training, right? And he just hit me on that same rib, you know.
Was it early in the round, or was it that late shot that you went down under?
It was earlier.
It looked like you were testing him. Was he stronger than you thought he was?
He's not a physical guy, you know. He's not a physical fighter.
Do you think he's worthy of a championship shot right now?
Well, you know, that depends on his handlers, you know. I couldn't answer that.
Is his left hand as impressive as it seems? He used it both hooking and jabbing and coming underneath with uppercuts.
I couldn't tell, you know.
What's your feeling, Ron, about this? What does this do for your career?
I don't know.
Thank you, Ron Lyle. Now back to ringside.
All right, Larry, obviously Ron Lyle having difficulty, as you might imagine, conducting an interview after the beating that he just took. And it demonstrates the power of that left hook, because Cooney was able to unleash to the body and was able to do damage.
Well, they said Gerry Cooney has one hand. And like I said, Marv, with the power that Cooney possesses, that's all he needs is one hand.
Can a guy be successful as a one-punch fighter with that kind of punch?
Well, certain fighters. But I would say that as you go down the line, get the experience, two hands is very necessary, very much. It's a necessity.
We're going to take another look at that knockout, which occurred at 2 minutes and 49 seconds of round 1. And Sugar, here it is.
Well, here we see where Ron Lyle made his major mistake. He's not really doing any type of damage. He's not throwing any punches. And we see Gerry Cooney with that devastating left hook to the sides. And I think he cracked Ron Lyle's ribs, because he's been known for cracking guys' ribs.
Cooney's managers, Dennis Rappaport and Mike Jones, have been criticized severely in the New York area for bringing Cooney along too slowly. What is your reaction to that? The same criticism was made of your people.
Well, I feel that Cooney is on the right road. He's doing the right thing. I think the management that he has is really very smart. He put up a dynamite show with Ron Lyle. He proved he has the power to deal with the veteran. He's on his way.
All right, Larry Merchant is all set now in a happier situation with the winner, Gerry Cooney. So let's go to Larry in the ring. Larry?
Gerry Cooney, congratulations. What are your feelings about what happened in there? Were you just so pent up before this fight, you looked like you wanted to go right straight through the roof?
Well, I've been working really hard in Concord, New York, upstate, and I've been training really hard for this fight, because, as everybody knows, each fight is more important than the next fight. So I trained real hard. My trainer, Victor Valley, my managers, Mike Jones and Dennis Rappaport, they got me to fight.
When did you know you had hurt him? Early in the round, later in the round, when?
Well, I started out with the jab, and when I started the jab, I turned it underneath, and I caught him under the chin. I thought I hurt him a little bit. And then I caught him in the body first, and I saw it hurt him. So I saw him on the ropes, playing the ropes, and I stepped to the side and banged it in there.
What did you expect from him? Did you expect a stiffer resistance than that?
Well, we all train. We train to go 10 hard rounds every fight, and I guess we were looking for a little bit of more of a fight tonight. But Ron Lyle's a tough guy. He's been around.
Was there anything he tried to do that surprised you, put you off your guard, anything you had to adjust to?
Well, pretty much my trainer told me just what I had to know. He told me just exactly how he was going to come out and what he was going to do.
What does this mean to you now? What does the fight tomorrow between Weaver and Coatsy mean in the light of this kind of spectacular finish?
Well, this is what I'm in boxing for. I've been in boxing for 4.5 years now, and this is what I'm here for, to fight for the championship. So tomorrow we're looking for the fight, for a tough fight, and maybe we'll get the winner.
Do you want to fight for the championship in your next fight?
Whatever my managers and my trainers discuss, I'm just a fighter.
I know what they're thinking, and they're businessmen. But you, as a fighter, do you think you're ready for anybody?
I would love to fight for the championship of the world.
Best fighter in the world. Who? Larry Holmes, Weaver, Coatsy?
Doesn't matter.
Thank you very much, Gerry Cooney.
Either one. Either Holmes or Weaver.
This is
heavyweight in the world.
Yeah. This is Mike Jones, one of Gerry Cooney's trainers and managers. What is your feeling now? Can he be
feeling now is one of joy. I'm going to enjoy this victory along with my partner Dennis and Gerry and Victor and all the people who work so hard. Then we're ready for Holmes or the winner of the Weaver-Coatsy fight.
In other words, you don't think he needs any more maturing, any more tune-ups? You want him to fight for the heavyweight championship right now?
What do you think?
Well, it's not what I think. I can't make the matches. What do you think?
I think he's ready for anyone in the world now. Either Holmes or the winner of the Coatsy-Weaver fight.
Thank you very much, Mike Jones. Now let's go back to ringside with Sugar Ray and Marv.
All right, Larry. Sugar, how do you think Cooney would fare against Larry Holmes?
I think Cooney will hold his own against any particular champion, whether it's Weaver or Larry Holmes. I like to correct myself. I said one hand. Cooney has two hands. The left hand is a lot stronger, that's all.
All right, you feel that Cooney could beat Holmes?
Well, experience would be a factor. Larry Holmes is not your everyday fighter. He's quick, he's big, and he has experience. All that could be a factor.
Hedging, no prediction though.
No predictions. I think Larry Holmes is a little bit too much now for Gerry Cooney.
All right, we're going to take a look at the last 30 seconds of round one. And the knockout is upcoming. It occurs at 2:49 of this first round.
Well, this is almost 2 more minutes than one fight I covered, Marv. That was Blaine Bovick and Norton, Ken Norton. But it's obviously a tremendously impressive performance by this big guy. You know, the question going into this fight really was, could he take a punch? He's never been in with a big puncher. But we don't know. He hasn't been hit yet. They used to say the same thing about Muhammad Ali.
Well, I take it. I don't want to take a punch. But I'm very impressed with Cooney. I mean, he looks good. He's strong. He's powerful. And he gets the job done.
What he's really done against both Jimmy Young and Ron Lyle, and this, I think, is the most impressive thing about him. He's imposed his will and his strength on them. He hasn't been awed by their reputations, by their styles. He's just gone out and said, I'm younger, I'm bigger, I'm stronger, and he let them worry about him rather than him worry about their reputations. And whatever you can say about his record, he's beat whoever they put in front of him, and that's all you can ask.
Well, this will serve notice, although there will be people who will say, hey, Ron Lyle has been on the way down. He was knocked out 3 fights ago by someone by the name of Lynn Ball. He rallied to come up with 10th round knockouts over 2 people that most boxing fans did not hear of. So Lyle is really going the other way, and those who are still skeptical of Cooney will use that as ammunition, but those who saw what happened here tonight have to be impressed.
One of the things about Cooney's handlers, Rappaport and Jones, is they've been extremely cautious in moving all of their fighters, most notably the lightweight Davis, your Olympic teammate. And it could be said of the way they moved their fighters that they got them into championship fights
but they didn't get them in there to win. They moved them so cautiously, and they kept their records unblemished, but when they got to the big fight, they couldn't handle the champion. I guess that's still some question out there about Cooney, because he really hasn't been severely tested. Until such time as it's proved otherwise, though, here he is.
Well, I think what they want to see is Cooney hurt. They want to see the big punch land and Cooney's reaction. But I will still say, Cooney can hold his own. He looks good, and I'm quite impressed with him.
I saw the expression on Sugar's face as Cooney was wrapping it up against Lyle, mouth aghast. You were astonished.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the guy, the left hook to the butt, and he breaks ribs, Larry. He really breaks ribs.
As Customato, Floyd Patterson's old manager, used to say, he has bad intentions in every punch. And you never know where you're going to hurt a guy, and he hit him in the body, and he hurt him there.
Well, Gerry Cooney pulling one out of the pages of Joe Louis. If you've just joined us, you've missed it. 2:49, round one. Cooney takes out Ron Lyle in a no question about it, devastating performance. On the undercard, earlier this evening, we saw Wilfred Cyprian and Mike Herron. Back to the Gerry Cooney story. If you missed it, it was a first-round knockout of Ron Lyle by Cooney at 2:49 of round number one. And when we talk about Gerry Cooney, we're talking about a guy that a year and a half ago, was dismissed as just another in a long line of so-called white hopes who had fallen short. Names that come to mind: Dwayne Bobbitt, Boone Kirkman, Chuck Wepner,
Scott Ledoux. Yeah, but he could be a victim of the white hope syndrome. In other words, really people don't believe that a white heavyweight can go to the top anymore. Perhaps this is the one who can. He certainly has been the most impressive young fighter, I would say, since Jerry Quarry in the heavyweight divisions. The other fighters were catchers, fellas that were out there and who were distinguished best by their ability to take a punch. We don't know if he could take a punch because he's giving too many of them.
But I really feel that if anyone's going to change that old cliche, the great white hope, Gerry Cooney.
Sugar Ray was impressed. Still impressed. Gerry Cooney doing it earlier tonight here at the Nassau Coliseum in Uniondale, New York, as he takes out Ron Lyle in round number one at 2 minutes and 49 seconds. We're set to move on to round number four as Wilfred Cyprian on the undercard went up against Mike Herron. Here is an important date upcoming, November the 25th. Superdome, New Orleans, against your good friend Roberto Duran.
Yeah, tell me about it. And I will beat Duran this time around, because last time, I'm quite sure everyone said I fought a stupid fight because I didn't utilize all my assets, speed of hand, speed of foot. But this particular time around, I'm going to use everything I got, and hopefully if things work out the way I want to, I'll come out victorious.
Can you use your speed of foot against a Duran who's no slowpoke himself? This is not big heavyweights moving around there. He can move. I thought in the last fight perhaps you had to stand there and fight him because you thought that there's really no way to keep moving.
No, not at all, Lars. When I fought Duran, I had viewed his films over and over again, so I reached a conclusion. I said I could beat this guy because this guy wouldn't think that I would fight him flat-footed. And I saw weakness. He couldn't load up on a guy who's moving to the right. But what I did, I told the public that I told him. And he had sufficient time to counteract my strategy. But Duran's a great fighter. There's no question about it. I respect him. And people don't realize the guy's not that easy to hit.
Do you regret your strategy?
Not at all, Mom. I feel happy that I went the distance with the guy the way I did. And it was so close that first they called a split, then they waited, a few hours, and they called unanimous. That proved one thing. If I fight him my way, it shouldn't be as close.
How much does it mean to you to come away?
It means a great deal, Bob. I tell you, people have always said, well, Sugar Ray made the money. He's not really sincere about fighting. He has the money. I hate to lose. I love to win. And I want to win this one, especially the second time.
Some people have been curious about why you're going back at him this quickly. Age is on your side. Why didn't you take another fight and wait another 6 months before you went back at him?
Well, this is one of the reasons my trainer, Dave Jacobs, resigned. He felt that he didn't have any input as far as when Sugar Ray should fight. He said I shouldn't go back in the ring with the Roberto Duran because it was such a tough fight. it was true that it was a tough fight. But I feel that why let Duran linger on, get hit by a truck, or get beat by an old fighter, a guy that has been fighting in the gym? I want to take off where I left and get him good.
Of course, the money might have had something to do with it.
Yeah. Well, it does help.
Does he intimidate you at all?
No, not at all. Let me fix my headset for a second.
Does
Not
the
at all.
headset intimidate you?
Then he intimidates me. Duran, he has a tendency to push you and shove you. He's like, I'm a kid, that kind of a guy. But I told the press, I said, all the hype and all the promotional gimmicks, that's in the past. We did that. I said, the name of the game now is to get in the ring and fight. The first fight, they knew we were both out to knock each other's block off. And I'm quite sure the second fight would be just the same thing.
In other words, no matter what your strategy is, eventually the two of you have got to look at each other from a distance in which you can hit each other.
That's true. Now, they asked me, they said, Sugar Ray, are you going to dance? I'm not going to dance. I'm going to run.
Could you face another loss to Duran?
I hate to lose, Ma. Let's not talk about it. Let's talk about something else, okay?
How about Tommy Hearns?
Yeah, let's talk about Tommy. I heard Tommy Hearns is a cop in Detroit.
He doesn't need a billy club.
Now, Tommy Hearns is another fight. I've been telling everybody, I said Duran would knock out Tommy Hearns. Tommy Hearns would knock out any fighter that steps in the ring with him, except me.
Well, if you win that fight with Duran...
When I win, Larry. You sit too close to me.
Notice how positive thinking has come out as this interview.
I guess then everybody says there has to be a third fight.
Yeah, they always expect a third fight, depending upon the results of this particular fight. If it's a close decision or if it's a knockout, it depends on the rematch.
Do you think that Duran can get into the kind of physical and mental shape again after beating you the way he did for the first fight? He really brought himself to the finest edge we've seen him in a long time. Can he do that again?
I don't know. Yes, he can. I don't know why they always say, well, Sugar, you're going to beat Duran this time because Duran can't get up. Why can't he? He's fighting me. He wants to beat me. What fighter don't want to beat Sugar Ray Leonard? They say Duran is old, over the hill. Duran is only, 29 years old. He's still a young man. I wish that was true. It would be a lot easier on me.
Back to some final words on what we saw here tonight at the Nassau Coliseum in a stunner. It was Gerry Cooney over Ron Lyle, 249, round number one. Quickie comparison should Cooney go up against Larry Holmes, Teddy Coetzee, Mike Weaver.
As far as Cooney with Larry Holmes, Holmes has too many twos now. He's too sharp. He's far experienced than Cooney. With a Mike Weaver. Mike Weaver's more of a basic fighter, straight up. Cooney has a chance, has a shot. But then again, boxing is so funny. I think any fighter steps in the ring has a 50-50 chance to a degree.
I think the strategy is clear since they announced it before the fight, which is not a normal thing to do, that the winner of this fight may fight the Weaver-Coetzee winner. That I think that the thinking of the people behind Cooney is that they would rather fight Weaver. I think he is an easier opponent should he win tomorrow. And then he's in a position of being a co-champion. Then the fight with Holmes is that much bigger, and then he can command a much bigger portion of the pie. And that's what this is all about.
Of course, it's merely media speculation. People put together the fact that Cooney is fighting a recognized man in Lyle tonight. You have Coetzee Weaver tomorrow on national television from South Africa. And you wonder how seriously it was considered that there is a possibility of Cooney going up against the winner. Certainly did not hurt in drawing people to the Nassau Coliseum here tonight.
I think it will be a fairly serious fight. I think that there's going to be a lot of money put up by television. I think that Cooney can fight here in Vegas and a lot of places and draw a serious crowd and serious money.
I'll agree.
Okay, that about wraps it up. Gerry Cooney does it to Ron Lyle, round number one. I'm Marv Albert, along with Sugar Ray Leonard and Larry Merchant. We thank you for tuning in, and we say goodbye from the Nassau Coliseum in Uniondale, New York. Be sure to watch the American Bodybuilding Championships as both men and women compete for the most prestigious titles in their sport. That's Tuesday, October the 28th, 7:30 and 6:30 Central. Also, don't miss HBO Sports Inside the NFL as Len Dawson and Nick Bonaconti recap the highlights each week in the NFL. That's Thursdays, 7:30 and 6:30 Central. The executive producer of HBO Sports, Michael Fuchs. This fight produced by Ross Greenberg. Directed by Bob Fitzpatrick. Associate producer Jeffrey Page Gout. Associate director Linda Jackson.